I wanted to show you this cool research and tool called Argfuscator, put together by another security researcher, Wietse. This is all his work, so I want to make sure he gets the credit where credit is due, but what is Argfuscator? It's an open source standalone web application that helps generate obfuscated command lines for common system native executables. And to be honest, it's a bit more than just that. It's not only this web application, but it does command line obfuscation. That's used to frustrate defenders or defensive measures and security solutions like antivirus, AV, or EDR, endpoint detection response, and sometimes completely bypass detection to begin with. They reference the MITRE ATT&CK framework technique and sub-technique here for command line obfuscation. And they note how hackers or threat actors and adversaries may obfuscate content during command execution so they don't get caught. It's all to fly under the radar, but you do these interesting tricks to concatenate strings or break different file paths or other Unicode characters, things that might be able to mask some of the code or commands that get ran. And you've seen plenty of threat actor groups like APT19, APT32, Aquatic Panda, and the list goes on and on of groups that have done this. And obviously, for other videos we've seen on this channel, obfuscation is part of just about every piece of malware. Hey, quick PS, this video is sponsored by Flare. They're a threat exposure management platform that tracks leaked credentials from InfoStealer malware and other identity-based threats. One compromised identity can cause a multi-million-dollar breach, and you can find out if you have one with their free trial link below. But I'll tell you more about Flare later. And normally we look at Windows-based malware because that's really what most systems are running in the actual industry and world. So Wietse has a really awesome blog and a ton of these actually, multiple different posts on how you do command line obfuscation, specifically in Windows. And he dives into all of the opportunities that you could tweak or tune commands that you run. Take a look at this breakdown. You're obviously used to running a command on the command line, like who am I, but of course that could take other arguments. So in the example of certutil, another program utility used on Windows, you can pass other options or switches or parameters and arguments to provide info for that program to use. You know all of this already, but if you explore how this could be tampered with, manipulated, and obfuscated with things maybe pertinent to that Windows shell like cmd.exe or old school DOS, there are utilities like DOSFucation that try to mask a lot of this by manipulating those characters and symbols, just as we've seen. This blog and a lot of the others that Wietse has put together are phenomenal, and I don't think we need to drill down into all of them for the video, but I'll include a link in the video description to each and every one of these because, again, I want Wietse to get the credit that he deserves here. He had originally released Argfuscator and a lot of this work around March timeline of 2025 during the Wild West Hacking Fest Denver conference. I had actually attended that security conference, so it was pretty cool to be able to finally meet him in person, shake hands, and say hello. And you might be familiar with his work already with some of his other projects like hijacklibs.net and lolbass, the Lolbin project. Just as an aside, I had reached out to him over DMs to ask and make sure, hey, are you totally cool with me showcasing this in a video? Wanted to make sure I had his blessing and approval, and big thanks, super appreciate his support. Feel free to do it. So here we are. Now back to the command line example. For the command we might run on the command line to download a file or proxy execution to some code, do anything really that would be using living off the LAN utilities. And if you can't tell, that's a call out to lolbass or lolbins, the living off the LAN binary scripts and libraries that could be used and abused on Windows to do really anything that you might want for other post-exploitation or command and control purposes. Now they showed the example of certutil, so let me go take a look at that one. While that could be used to download a file, smuggle data in with alternate data streams, or even an encode and decode base64 data, you can see some of the syntax and the examples that they showcase here, exactly what we saw on Argfuscator's explanation. The coolest thing is that Obfuscator will take that command and then transform it to this abomination. While your antivirus or EDR solution is probably going to detect this, well, it might have a much more difficult time trying to detect this. Now, while that's neat, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, why? Well, hey, it's pretty cool to be able to do this for red teaming or penetration testing or emulating adversaries, trying to understand how threat actors and hackers do what they do. So us, as defenders or other cybersecurity professionals, could use Obfuscator to make sure your detections work. Even when command lines are obfuscated, well, is your EDR or is your security solution actually going to be able to track this thing down? Even if they try to hide and smuggle any command just like this. So let me get back to the homepage of obfuscator.net. It's really cool. You could just paste in or type in whatever command you want to try to obfuscate. If you want any inspiration, you can click here to try a random command, and then you can see all that it does to obfuscate or manipulate a command, like this syntax with xcopy. You can see that in our input box and the output that's displayed down below, but I need to click apply obfuscation for it to turn into that. And this will still work. This is still completely functional and will execute and run with the original intent from our starting command, now just obfuscated. But you can see the directory traversal, jumping up a parent directory just to get back to another location, trying to hide or manipulate or change what the file path looks like, with random characters and quotes that will be ignored, different kinds of slashes potentially for different options or arguments. And you can actually drill down into this with the options, and you can see all of the different sort of settings, tweaks, tuning, configuration you could use for different kinds of transformations. Kind of wild to see all that you could do. While some might not work well for specific commands, they've already done all that research and hard work to figure out what works best with each and every command. So we'll get a chance to play with this. I want to refresh and see just another command, so you get a little bit more opportunities here to see this oddity in action. And in this video, we will play with it just a little bit. I want to see it in action. I want us to be able to kick the tires and work with some of the different entries that it has support for to see what could we execute, what could we do, and will we be able to evade detection with some EDR antivirus. Right now, this only has support for Windows binaries. You can see Linux and Mac are coming soon, and maybe that's a good project if any of you budding researchers or security practitioners want to contribute. But you can see how each and every one of these commands might allow or enable any of the different kinds of transformations or opportunities for obfuscation. They went ahead and tested with a lot of the work that they did in their blog to be able to see which of these will actually still function with any of these tricks up their sleeve. Now, before we get started with our own fireworks, I do kind of wonder, are threat actors already talking about this? Has there been any chatter or conversations by any ill-intended actors, maybe over in the dark web? With that segue, please let me take just a quick moment to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Flare. Flare is a threat exposure management platform that can see if you or your company is a victim of a recent cyber attack. Here you can see all the different sources that Flare is collecting from, and within them is 18,000 private Telegram channels where cyber criminals are actively talking about what they're doing. Like right here, Flare is picked up on vendors either on Telegram or ransomware leak sites where maybe images could be pulled, dark web forums where you can see threat actors chatting and discussing different exploits, vulnerabilities, or malware, and even logs from InfoStealer malware. So you can track down compromised credentials or see what info is out there. But now you can know if any of you, your team members, or your company or organization has been compromised, or if there's an attack coming with different vulnerabilities or threat actors targeting your sector or industry. Let me look specifically for Obfuscator. We can see some actors discussing it. We can see when they shared the article and some of the tooling that's been out and about. And Flare isn't just a visibility tool. Here I have some identifiers set up with my email address, my name, and my domain name all put into Flare so I can see different events. When events happen that have any of my information in, I get an alert. Flare will email me saying, hey, we found a password for your email, or we found a leak for your domain. And I use this even for some threat intelligence to track different ransomware actors or groups out there. So I can respond to cyber attacks, different incidents without any extra work. And you can track specific campaigns, different activity across the industry, or look for leaked credentials. Hey, working with Flare helps me keep this channel moving. And if you want to help me out, go try Flare with the link below in the video description. You can get a free trial, and big thanks to Flare for sponsoring this video. Alright, now back to Argfuscator. I do still want to draw your attention to an offline version where this also works as a PowerShell module. In his GitHub repository, there is invoke-argfuscator, and of course the web interface we've been on, argfuscator.net, but this is literally drop-in local code that you can run to do the exact same thing. You still get to do all the different options, configurations, and sort of transformations as you've seen with that interface, but now it's just local. You can run it in PowerShell. But just to keep the visual aspect and to be able to explore all the entries that they support, I do want to keep using the web interface for the moment. Now, what we could do to experiment is honestly look through this list and then sort of double check with lolbins or lolbas to see which of these would give us the capability that we want, like downloading files, uploading files, executing other code or commands, or any technique that we'd like. Of course, there are a lot of options here, and you can get creative if you use any of these in your own attack chains, but at least for the sake of this video, being able to test it, experiment, and kind of demo in the moment would be nice and worthwhile. So we could scroll through and kind of explore what would be worth a good visual to execute some code. Well, on the lolbas resource, you can search by function by including the /. So let me look for execute, and that should filter some of the results here. I remember I saw reg server 32 would work well as an option with Argfuscator. So let's look at that. Now, please bear with me because I know your mileage may vary. Hey, the idea and the whole concept of Argfuscator is really cool and pretty awesome, and it's wild to have the potential to bypass EDR, antivirus, any security solution. But a lot of these commands are, of course, probably going to be under scrutiny already just by living off the land binaries. There are a lot of possible detectors or detections that could be used to track stuff like this, even using reg server 32 as just an example. But I do want to show us this in action. So let me grab one of these commands just to be able to execute something. And what it does is it executes a remote.sct or scriptlet file using the script and the scrobj scrobj DLL on Windows. This means we get to host or serve a payload remotely, and we still natively naturally get to run it with this command. But we could hide that with Argfuscator. First things first, let's set up a .sct payload file. No tricks up my sleeve here. I'm literally just going to Google for a sample payload or syntax for a scriptlet file, and there is one that lolbas even provides. We can take a look at this from GitHub. While this is an old example because the .sct is kind of, a little bit old school techniques for being able to execute code like this, they still work just fine. So let's grab the syntax. Now again, just for some fireworks, I'm going to open up my Kali Linux virtual machine. I'll hit Control-Alt-T on my keyboard to open up the terminal, F11 to full screen, and then I want to make a directory for us to host and serve our .sct file. So let me create just a simple test.sct, and I'll use Subble or Sublime Text as my text editor there. I'll paste in all of the syntax, and for syntax highlighting, this might look good as HTML. All we'll do with this simple example is open the calculator application. I know nothing fancy, but it'll give us the proof of concept and visual. Once we have this staged, we still need to serve it or host it so that's able to be downloaded via that HTTP request from reg server 32. So let me actually use Python to serve this with a http.server that'll spin it up on my local port 8000, but I want to beam this out to the internet. So honestly, I'll use ngrok to keep this easy to serve an HTTP server mapping to my local port 8000 and funnel it out to the open internet. Okay, now I have a address available. Let me grab that. And now back on my Windows 11 virtual machine, I do just want to stage this command for us. Well, looks like I still had some malware open from past investigation. That's fine. Let's go ahead and use this with the reg server 32 syntax we saw on lolbins. Here is the original payload. We could just change this to use our ngrok app with the specific test.sct. There we go. Now let's try to use this command. Obviously, this should pop open the calculator. Paste in, nothing fancy, no obfuscation here right now, but calculator. Okay. Again, obviously, this command will likely be detected, or is much easier to be detected by antivirus and EDR. Now, let's get back to Obfuscator, or use the PowerShell tooling, or whatever you'd like, paste it in, and click Apply Obfuscation so it looks like a disaster. Now, I want to cross my fingers. We need to be able to test this command first, because just as you might have mentioned in the FAQ, not everything will immediately succeed. Sometimes there are changes in the binary. Oh, but that one worked just fine. Still need to test this, though, in your own lab, but that is doing the same thing and functionally equivalent to that. Let me try to run procmon so you can see that in action. I'm using from sysinternals procmon64, and let me remove some of my older filters, and let's just do if the process name is regserver32.exe. Let's add that. Click OK, apply. I'll move this to the right-hand side and our terminal on the left-hand side. So when I still get to run that exact syntax, fingers crossed, yeah, it fires. Let me take a look at that process start event at the very top, though. You note the command line is present there. So if I double-click this entry, can I see that... If we were really desperate for a reverse shell, we could use some tooling like hoax shell, just for the demonstration's sake. Obviously, you could use Sliver or Empire or Havoc or Cobalt Strike or whatever command and control post-exploitation framework of your choosing. But for some extra eye candy, let me go ahead and get a callback connection with this big base64 encoded PowerShell payload. We've chained this easily enough that we could just make the modifications to our .sct file and run that command rather than the calc payload. Since that HTTP server is still running, we should be able to get a callback. Now I have the attacker on the left and the victim on the right, so let me try to run that same reg server command. We see PowerShell kick off, of course, and obviously I have my shell. And that command to run it was just a little bit sneakier than the usual cookie cutter and vanilla reg server 32 payload, or any other command that we might want to run by using Obfuscator. Any other random command they offer showcases some of the neat tricks. You can keep experimenting and playing with this if there are any that you're interested in, or maybe any other command line obfuscation ideas that you might have. Plenty of options and opportunities here, and I think it's just neat. So that is some of the cool obfuscation capability that you get with Obfuscator. Now again, please let me emphasize, your mileage may vary. Right? We could try to tweak and tune and manipulate and make all these different commands just look strange and weird, and potentially they'll bypass EDR detection, but it boils down to the rules that you have in action. Obviously, using the obfuscating techniques means there'll be new artifacts or things that you could still key off of to detect that obfuscation. You just need to know what it is that you'd be looking for, what it is you key off of and identify there within your rule set. So that is why I wanted to bring this to your attention. This can be detected, right? It's just a matter of having your detectors know what to look for. Well, that's why I wanted to at least show you this, so you've got that insight, info, and you're better armed to fight when hackers and threat actors and real ill-intended adversaries use stuff like this. Hey, once again, all credit where credit is due. This is entirely Vitse's work, research, tooling, capability, so I want to make sure he gets all the love and support for that. But it's so cool to see Procmon catching some of the shadiness like that. I'll include a link to all of his blog posts below in the video description, and of course, we'll have a link for Flare. Please do give them some love. Super appreciate their support as a sponsor of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned some new tricks with Obfuscator, and with that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.